Imagine a world without writing. No books to read, no letters to send, no written records of any kind, no history books to learn from, no written laws to guide us. It's a strange thought, isn't it? A world where everything is spoken and nothing is written down. Writing is so fundamental to our lives that it's hard to imagine a world without it. It shapes our communication, our culture, and our history. But what if humans had never invented writing? What if our ancestors relied solely on oral traditions? How would our world be different? How would we preserve our knowledge and stories? In this world, everything we know would be passed down through generations by word of mouth. Oral traditions would be the backbone of our societies. Stories, knowledge, and history would all be carried in the minds of people. The art of storytelling would be paramount. This reliance on memory would change how societies function, how knowledge is shared, and how we preserve our past. It would influence our education, our governance, and even our daily interactions. The absence of writing would be a fundamental difference in the human experience. It would alter our perception of time and history. It would touch every aspect of our lives, from the simplest interactions to the most complex systems of knowledge and governance. From education to communication, everything would be transformed. Our reliance on memory and oral traditions would shape our world. Let's explore how this world without words would take shape and what it would mean for humanity. In a world without writing, communication would depend entirely on the spoken word. Knowledge would be shared through stories and songs passed down from generation to generation. This oral tradition would be vital for preserving history and culture. However, oral tradition has its limitations. Without written records, information can be easily forgotten, misinterpreted, or even deliberately changed. Imagine the game of telephone. The message at the end is often very different from the one at the beginning. This is the challenge of relying solely on spoken words. Without writing to solidify knowledge, each generation would have to rediscover things for themselves. Progress would be slow and mistakes would be repeated. The ability to store and share information accurately is crucial for progress. Writing allows us to build on the knowledge of those who came before us. It enables innovation and the advancement of technology. Through written records, we can communicate complex ideas and ensure they are preserved for future generations. The written word is a powerful tool that transcends the limitations of oral tradition. Societies would function very differently without writing. Writing is the backbone of modern civilization. Complex laws and systems of governance would be difficult to maintain without written records. Written documents provide a reliable reference. Imagine trying to remember all the laws of a country. It would be nearly impossible. Memory alone is not enough to sustain order. Without writing, societies would likely remain smaller and less organized. The growth and complexity we see today would be unimaginable. Disputes would be settled based on memory and reputation, which could lead to misunderstandings and conflicts. Written records help prevent such issues. Imagine trying to prove who owns a piece of land without any written documents. It would be very difficult. Written deeds are essential. The absence of writing would also impact trade and economic activities. Trade relies heavily on written agreements. Without written contracts, agreements would be based on trust and reputation. This could lead to disputes and broken promises. This system could work on a small scale, but it would be difficult to maintain as societies grew larger and more complex. Writing is essential for growth and stability. Section 4. The March of Progress. Technological and scientific progress would be significantly hampered without writing. Imagine trying to build a spaceship or develop a cure for a disease without written instructions or scientific formulas. It would be an incredibly difficult task. Without writing, each generation would have to start from scratch, rediscovering knowledge and techniques. Progress would be slow and laborious. The ability to record and share information is essential for building upon the work of others. Despite these limitations, humans are ingenious. Even without writing, we would find ways to innovate and solve problems. We would just have to rely on different methods, such as observation, experimentation, and collaboration. In Section 5, the tapestry of culture. Cultural expression would also be very different in a world without writing. Without books, poems, or plays, storytelling would be a primarily oral tradition. Music and dance would flourish as ways to express emotions and share stories. Imagine a world where the only way to experience a story is to hear it told aloud. It would be a world where imagination and creativity are highly valued. The absence of writing would lead to a rich and diverse oral culture. It would be a world where every voice matters and every story is unique. It would be a world very different from our own,